Alright, hey everyone, welcome to today's video. So I'm streaming this video directly. There's not going to be any post-production because this is kind of one of those emergency type deals. So first of all, thanks to Rush Runner and Co for people who've been putting all these crit builds together. I'm taking pretty much his roadmap in order to make my build so far. And some people have requested that I show this build and see my progress so that they can know exactly what they need to do. So this is an LMG critical hit chance build, and I know a lot of people have said things about, crit not being worthwhile, and there are many things you can do, but I beg to differ. I've been running this build the way it is right now, and I will say that this is one of the better builds that I've run when it comes to the LMG. If not, in my opinion, the best build I've run when it comes to an LMG since the game has begun. Now, I've been using a lot of the damage builds and using a lot of damage to elites, but I think this build is so much more versatile. You can take out any NPC as fast as you want. Now, I will share this build so far. This is the progress I have so far. This is not the complete build that I want, but it is actually like 90% close. And then I'll talk about its strengths and its weaknesses. So right now, the build itself has 60% critical hit chance, 55% critical hit damage, 67% headshot damage, and I have 32% LMG damage bonus, and then I'm not running an SMG. That doesn't do anything, and then I have 58% damage to elites, and I'll show you why my damage to elites number is low compared to some other numbers and how I would like to build and spec towards it. So first of all, I'm running 3 Wyvern to get me 10% critical hit chance if I run 3 of the Wyvern, and I have 7% crit damage and 15% drone skill power. And I'll start with my backpack because that's where the weakness is. So Marco did a video talking about how to get yourself a backpack that can roll you hard hitting and maybe vital, because that's what I actually when I want a backpack, but Wyvern that has hard hitting and vital and also the stats that I need. He said it's going to be a 1 in 255,000 chance when he ran the calculation on that video. I think he's since taken down that video. But when he said it, I was so discouraged, and I was laughing because I was like, man, where am I going to get a backpack like that? But this is the closest I have, and it has hard hitting, and it has this talent here called efficient, which some people say is good in the raid. Some people say it's not necessarily that good. I would rather take vital though to give me more health. So if you look at Rush Runner's build, he has over 100,000 health, and I think vital is playing a big role because about 20% more of the health that I have here will probably put me close to the 90, let's see, 7,000, yeah, it'll put me close to 90,000, which is quite decent. And so that's one of the weaknesses of the build. And then another weakness of the build is in my weapon here, my LMG, where I don't have an LMG that would do the job that I want. So I do have unhinged on all the other LMGs, and I can roll unhinged there, but I will lose a lot of my weapon handling. And if I try to compensate with the knee pads that I have that actually has braced, which would give me this weapon, I mean, there's a difference. This is the one build where I actually did see the difference between braced and not having braced. And if I run this to, to get the unhinged, then I'll use brace to compensate. But then I will lose on, so far, the 10% damage to elites that I have on this Wyvern knee pads. This was the last piece I was looking for when it came to gear. Sorry, this Wyvern knee pads right here with critical hit chance or with damage to elites, whichever. I can run either of these two depending on how much critical hit chance I have and what I want to wear with it. Another weakness is also in my mask. I only have about 28% damage to elites, but I'm not running this mask. I was testing this before I shut down the computer yesterday. This is the mask I'm actually running. 26% damage to elites and 5% critical hit chance with hard hitting. But I was looking at these numbers to see if I'll still get 60% crit chance and be able to roll hard hitting on here and still keep the 60% crit chance. So I hope that made sense. Okay. Because at 60% it's capped, you can't get anything more. So this is why I put on this DNH mask. Now I would enjoy this DNH mask because it gives me accuracy, but there's nothing wrong with 10% hazard protection, especially when you go into the second part of the third part of the raid, I think, where you have to deal with some hazard protection issues and stuff like that. But I do have a 60% crit chance LMG build that is based around Richter and Kaiser. But the only problem is Richter and Kaiser doesn't give me anything more than 10% hazard protection, so I don't want pistol damage, and I sure as, heck don't want shield skill power in my build currently. So that's why this Richter and Kaiser needs to go. A lot of people have spoken to me about getting the 40% damage to elite mask. Well, I haven't found it yet, folk. If I do, I would definitely be rolling it on some other mask somewhere. But for now, this is the mask I have. So I'm actually running a lot more critical hit chance than I need when I go into the battlefield, which is not what I want. I want to keep it at 60 and be done. So what I can do having this mask, I can go on my weapon mods, and I can change out something that's got crit chance for something that'll probably give me something that is useful other than crit chance, and so I don't have too much crit chance with me. But I have crit damage mods, I have crit chance mods. There's a 7% crit chance mod that you get from the demolitionist, and this always skips my mind because you have a 5% laser pointer, but there's one that comes with the small laser pointer that comes with the demolitionist gives you 7%. So always leverage those from the mods that you get. And then I'm using a rate of fire belt, which I was able to go for. I found out that I had the 10% crit damage magazine, and I crafted that yesterday. And so if I wanted more crit damage, and I didn't really care about this rate of fire, I'll take this. Now, if I get an LMG with Allegro, I am definitely removing this rate of fire. In fact, the logical thing is to go for more crit damage, and that's where your damage is going to come from. A lot of people don't see how this works until you build like this. And then you see. And then the next thing I think is the difficulty in getting a crit build together. And I think that's why a lot of people are just saying, it's not really efficient. I think it's the process of farming for it. This has taken me literally a whole week to get here. And, I don't have as much time. But the little time I've had, I've jumped in and I've been farming little by little. And I've been getting the items that I kind of want. But they're not perfect. But this is what I have. So for my chest piece, I have a Petrov chest piece that I went and rolled a lot more crit chance on yesterday. If I find another chest piece that has more than 13% crit chance, I'll try to upgrade it as well. And then for my holster, I found a 14% crit chance stat on another gear item yesterday, which I then rolled here. That skyrocketed my crit chance very well. And so this build for a crit build is a patience tester. It will test your patience a lot. And so I had to add health here because, man, the health was terrible. It was like 30-something thousand. And I'm very surprised to see that health actually scales very well. A lot of people say, health doesn't seem to, but trust me, when I was using 30,000 health and now that I have 74, I've seen the difference. You just feel the difference so much in your character. You're not going down as fast. And I think what it is on testing, it probably is that after a specific point, health scaling doesn't really scale properly. I think there's a way it's probably skewed or capped, but that would have to take somebody who's willing to sit and run the math to be able to understand how that works. Plus, you have to subject yourself to all kinds of enemy damage, or maybe you go into PvP to kind of test it out. I have a pair of Murakami gloves that's giving me 8% health, which is crazy. That even with 8% health here, and health somewhere else, I'm only able to come up with 74,000 health, and then I have LMG damage. And then I have surgical on these gloves as well. So if I would say a better fit for me will be another pair of gloves that had higher armor, like this Gila here that has pretty much 29,000 armor, I think. And then, I can probably run something else with it. But it is what it is. And then these knee pads, I'm running these because they have some decent armor. I can run this. This has higher armor, but it gives me extra crit chance, which once I put this on, and then I have to go back to my mods and take stuff out. So I've been very fortunate, honestly, with these two knee pads. I got this one last night. I was so excited when I got it because it had everything I wanted. Now, it's a little short on 1.5% crit chance, but trust me, I'm running way more crit chance right now, and I don't think I really need it. So this is my build so far. Now, the genius of this build is in this exotic weapon called Sweet Dreams. Now, I never reload my weapon. I just use this talent. While equipped, dodging reloads 25% of your current weapon's magazine. I'm telling you that this build, because of the reload speed, because of the quantity of magazines, doing 28,000 base damage, which is what I'm doing right now, without adding something like Unhinged, without going back to modify and move talents around, without having Allegro. So once I find the right LMG, you are looking at pretty much the best possible DPS build that you can run, and you have to look around all the other people who finish the raids. I'm taking notes from people who finish the raids. I'm sorry. Those are the people that I feel like are worth listening to. If they've beaten the raids, I'm going to go listen to what they're doing, and I'm going to do exactly that. So for those of you who are wondering how I was able to get my critical hit chance high, this has pretty much been it. I've been able to get, you know, crit chance on my backpack. I was able to get surgical to give me crit chance on my gloves. Also, my holster has a bunch of crit chance, and my knee pads also has crit chance, and my chest piece also has, you guessed it, crit chance, and my mask also has, oh wow, look at you geniuses, crit chance. Now, the reason I could probably run something else here, I would prefer to run that braced here and then make up for that 40% damage to Elites will really change the whole dynamics of my game. It would literally give me room to be able to run some other talent on this pair, on another pair of gloves, and not be stuck with you having to use surgical to run the 5%. I mean, I can still do it now. I can run another Murakami gloves and use, what's the name of Clutch. Clutch will then make the build worth my while, where I'm able to get, you know, this healing and this armor regeneration from using it, and then still also keep Murakami. And so that's exactly one way to actually go with the build. So there are many variations. My build does not look exactly like anybody else's. It looks exactly like what I could get my hands on. All right, I guess I'm going to get out of y'all's hair. If you have any more questions, hit me up on Discord. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, there's a Discord community around the Gamey Daddy viewers and audience. And you can go in there if you're on PS4, Xbox, or PC and find LFG groups for raids, for missions, for farming, for trying to look for a mask or whatever it is you want to do. And you just hit up the Discord, and if somebody's online and they want to also run the same mission or the same, they have the same objectives as you, then you all can actually do so. So check it out. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I want you to leave comments, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Now I gotta stop this stream. Haha.